Hey guys, welcome to my Another Eden version 1.3.5 update video. In this video we're going to cover over the Otherlands, the Baruoki region, which is going to be included in this update. This is going to be a little bit longer than usual since there is actually a lot of things to go over. So without further ado, what's new in this patch? We're going to get new heroes that will be obtainable through the dreams. There is an extra difficult another dungeon being added in the first of 3 parts, and in this region we're going to be introduced in is called the Baruoki region. And with this added new another dungeon, we are going to be introduced to some of the best craftable weapons in the game. And they're also going to add the Nopu company in the another dimension. So let's go over one of the new characters. Her name is Erina. She comes in 3 to 4 star rarity, is a staff wielder. She's a neutral type with light, and her role is magic, recovery, and aid. Her Valor chant decreases all the enemy's intelligence by 25% for 1 turn. And her Channeler tome can be acquired in any hard mode in Industrial Ruins, Riftbreaker, Toto's Dreamland, Beast King's Castle, which are not released in the current version yet. Another character that's being added is called Iwan. He's a 4 to 5 star rarity unit, is a hammer user, attribute is fire, type is shadow, his role is physical with multi-hits, and his Valor chant is a plus 30% power and intelligence to all party members for 1 turn. And you can get his Negotiator tome in the Riftbreaker very hard. Now I want to break down the Otherlands. This is going to be 3 dungeons with their own areas to explore, and they're going to be divided into hard and very hard mode. You must complete at least chapter 25 of the main story to unlock it. And it starts off with Baruoki in 1.3.5 and will be introduced to Rattle and Elzion later on. It will cost 2 green keys to enter regardless of the difficulty, and within each 3 of these main regions you'll have 4 areas to explore, with the 4th area generally being a single boss fight. And the hard difficulty and very hard difficulty level spread is displayed in the screen. As you can tell, very hard goes all the way up to level 80, as this is aimed for endgame users to enjoy. And the areas 1 through 3 has multiple bosses which can be challenged in any order, and you may leave the dungeon with the rewards after just beating any one of the bosses within the area. The stronger your team is, the more bosses you can challenge per run. Otherlands breakdown continued. Shiny enemies are also introduced, which include unique items that are required to craft equipment. Shiny enemies will have a high chance to run away on turn 1, and they have a very high speed. So if you don't have a very high speed team or a unit that can instantly kill the shiny units, then try to have another force saved and use it whenever you encounter a shiny enemy. The equipment rewards in this area offers level 52 for hard and level 60 weapons for very hard. So you can only craft armors by running the hard mode, and you can craft the weapons in very hard. The Baruoki, you will be able to craft sword, axe, katana, rattle, spear, bow, fist, and hammer. Elzion has staff A and staff B, and hammer B. Regional weapons can be upgraded beyond its first crafted stats, and the weapons require 5 of a boss drop and 25 of various trash mobs. And then to upgrade them, you require 2 types of boss drops, 50 each, 9 of the horror drops, 25 of the last area boss drops, and 55 shiny enemy drops. So it's estimated to max a weapon to plus 10 is about 2 months of farming. And since we're being introduced with Baruoki, I would highly recommend aiming for the katana and then the sword, as they're the quote-unquote best weapons from the Baruoki region. And to be honest, they're the best weapons in this game even when version 2.0 is launched. So some of these weapons that you can craft in region is going to be the best that you can get in this game. Alright, now the breakdown. The first area, Nuaru Uplands, the Shining Uplands. first boss is going to be a big Abeto, which is the green ogre. He's going to be weak to wind and resist water and earth. His attacks are mainly physical, so if you're having trouble surviving, try debuffing his strength or increasing your party's strength resistance. Second boss is the High Goblin, which has no weakness or resistance, and it'll call out 2 goblins, so you just want to have enough damage to be able to clear them out. Next region, the Nauru Uplands, the Sprawling Plains overview. The first boss that you can encounter are the Gobsters, which are a group of goblins. The yellow and blue goblin have no weakness or resistance, but the green one is weak to sword and fire, while being resistant to wind. You want to try to exploit the green's weakness, that way you could build up your another force gauge to make the fight easier. Another boss, which is the blue High Goblin, he has no weakness or resistance, and at 50%, he has access to a skill that reduces an ally's HP to 1 health. So you want to bring in strong healers such as Mero, Yuna, or anyone that has good burst heals or healing over time in anticipation to that skill. You can also bring strong defensive units that can provoke, such as Annabelle or Soira, etc. Then another one of the bosses in the same area is the High Goblin Yellow. He has no weakness or resistance, and it applies poison every 3rd turn starting on turn 1. And it will also debuff your party's strength, and AoE attacks the party occasionally whenever it's a poison turn. And you must kill this boss by his 16th turn, otherwise it'll deal a 99,999 special poison attack to wipe out your party members. Next region, Moonlight Forest, Woodland Entrance. One of the first bosses you can encounter is the Abetos brothers, which are a group of ogres. They're going to be weak to wind, and they resist earth and water. Take down both of them at the same time, otherwise the remaining one will be granted a very powerful buff. And after 20 turns, both of their attacks will start ramping up to be more deadly. Another one of the bosses is the Sleepy Ogre. He has no weakness or resistance. His first 20 turns, he is weak to magic. And then after the 20 turns, it goes to sleep and is going to be weak against any physical attacks. So for the first 20 turns, in order to survive his onslaught, you can use strength debuffers such as Iska and Suzette's Valor Chance to reduce its damage so you can survive until turn 20, where the boss fight gets significantly easier. One of the other bosses is the Plum Goblin, who is a type changer. So this one's fairly straightforward, and when he's yellow, he'll be weak to wind and will resist earth. Green, he's going to be weak to fire and resist wind. Blue is where he's going to be weak to earth and resist water. Red is weak to water and resist fire. And it's mostly magic based, so you can apply intellect debuffs to reduce its damage. And you want to save another force when it's your party's primary attribute is strong against its form to take it out. And then finally, another boss in this area is the High Goblin, which is blue, and he'll summon 2 ogres. He has no weakness or resistance, and it's primarily a damage check fight. The 2 summoned ogres will cast heals on the High Goblin every 5th turn, so you want to make sure you want to try to burst down the blue High Goblin as soon as you can. Finally, the last area, Moonlight Forest Deep Ravine, you're going to fight our old pal Varus. He has 2 forms. His purple form has no weakness and is resistant to magic and wind. His red form has no weakness and is resistant to physical and earth. At 50%, Varus will summon a Chimera, which is going to be weak to wind and resistant to earth. And if they're not destroyed by turn 8, they will self-destruct. In other words, you want to try to capitalize on dealing damage to the Chimera with wind users to also build up that AF gauge. And Varus has 3 attack patterns. If he's not killed on his 45th turn, he will cast a deep sleep attack that will wipe out the entire party. And for your viewers' convenience, I have included Varus's attack pattern, since he does have a more complicated attack pattern than your usual boss. And finally, what's next? If another Eden Global follows suit, the next update is going to be a small update, but a pretty significant one. They're going to add something called the Lucky Region Crystal Realm, which is a new feature added, which is also known as the White Gate. You can obtain the White Gate after another dungeon run, and as far as I know, it's 10% out of any another dungeon run, regardless of difficulty. And it's basically a lottery system where you can run in and get possibly very high valuable looted items such as chance scripts, high class scrolls, and the eventual Another Style tomes, which will be added when 1.5 is released. Anyways, there's a lot to look forward to in this patch. I believe this patch is going to be the first significant step for the endgame players that want to have and prepare for all future content when they do get released. So this is the time to start burning your green ticket dungeons, guys. Anyways, good luck with the farm. Hopefully this video helps, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.